Everyone under the sun.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandy McDonald, and I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And I'm sorry today happens to be February 29th, leap year, but I'll still say it. Happy New Year. Again, the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, as you know, right here in Broward County, we're here to support businesses, especially our small business community right here in Broward. And 2 years ago, I started a director series. We made our way around the county with aviation, with port, Convention and Visitors Bureau, Construction Management Division, Public Works. I started dabbling in our community partners with Career Source, MBDA on the federal side. And now we're going to dabble in 24 even further with partners that are just as close and just as important. And that's like today. Today, we actually have as a guest our city manager for the city of Fort Lauderdale. And it's a pleasure for me to have Greg with me today because we're often in the same room. And at the end of the day, we don't get to speak that much to each other, but we definitely see each other. But I'm happy he's here today because eventually he's going to tell you about himself, about the operations, and then we're going to dive in to what's really happening in Fort Lauderdale. But for the audience, we want to let you know there will be a chance for some Q&A. So if you're watching me on Zoom, we want to make sure that you go to the Q&A. If you got any questions, throw those in. And if you're going to be watching us on Facebook Live, put in the comment section because my staff will be able to grab those and we'll come back and forth to get to you. But right now, I want to allow Mr. Chavarria to introduce himself, the city of Fort Lauderdale, let us know a little bit about his history, and after that, we'll get going. Greg, once again, seriously, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the family?
Hey, certainly. Sandy, thank you so much. I'm so proud and excited to be here today along to share with your audience, some of the opportunities that exist. And that's what we're all about, right? It's about sharing and caring and also making sure that there's awareness about some of the projects and how you could be involved and how you could be part of that. And that's something that I admire about you, Sandy. You're always out there letting us know about those opportunities. I remember I was telling you the other day that, when I was in Hallandale as city manager, you came by and you told us, this was back in like 2017, 2016. You said, you know what, there are opportunities in asphalt and paving, and I recommend you to go and start an asphalt and paving company. That's what you told a lot of people out there. And some people actually took your advice and became very profitable. And I say to myself, I should have done that, But nevertheless, I do work in public service. I love public service. I've been working for the government in one way or another since the age of 14, believe it or not, as an intern for Miami-Dade County. And all along, my mission has been to make it better and be inclusive and just leave it better than how I found it. This is my second role as city manager. I've also been an IT director for 4 cities and agencies: Miami Police, City of Doral, the 11th Judicial Circuit of Miami-Dade County, and also City of Hallandale Beach. And so every time I get into a role, I look at innovation. I look at how we can make it better. And I'm sure with those in the audience today, I want that as we're describing what we're doing, as we're looking at some of the initiatives and projects and programs that are taking place for the city of Fort Lauderdale, one of the top highest 25 metros in the United States. How can you be part of this movement? How can you be part of this initiative? So I want to share some tips later on how you could get registered, what opportunities are in the near future that you certainly can be part of. So I hope that that's a little bit about my background and what I do. And again, I do what I love and love what I do.
And Greg, that's a great intro. And of course, I love the tagline. You do what you love and you love what you do. But you also said something that is spot on for the business community. And guys, you know how I am. I'm always going to say the business community because we're responsible for businesses big, large, small. But we definitely got this emphasis in small business. Greg, you just got through telling us about your background and how you engage or approach what you do relevant to innovation and technology. And before we really dive in, that's one of the pieces I think I want you to share with our business community. How important is it for the business community, especially the small businesses community today, to take advantage of innovation, technology, not so much fear it, but understand it to use it to their benefit, even in some of your processes?
Yeah, certainly. So, something that we have as an advantage is that we have the internet. On top of that, we have a lot of softwares out there that utilize AI, that utilize, for instance, a very seamless approach to getting things done. Today, small businesses can take advantages of, for example, software online platforms like Canva to do your marketing. I'm sure that your staff uses that on
Yep.
a day-to-day basis, and it's free 99, in certain cases, right? And there's also many online courses on how you can get registered as an LLC or how you can get insurance, because that's something important. When you're doing, business with the government, you really need to make sure you're on the up and up on, like, are you registered with the state? Do you have an LLC? Do you have, for instance, insurance for liabilities? Those are the kind of things that hinder people with, starting a business and doing business with government. So I want to just acknowledge that, today the internet really, creates a bridge instead of a barrier to some of the opportunities that exist today. Today, you don't have to go to City Hall to get registered as a vendor. Today, you can go
True.
online 24/7, submit your name, submit your information and your commodity codes so that you can get, awareness of those opportunities that exist. So certainly today it's easier more than ever on how you can, again, be a vendor and be a value added partner to government and what it does.
No, that's spot on. And again, today, family, we have the city manager for the city of Fort Lauderdale, Greg Chavarria, and he's going to be with us for about another 25 minutes. So at the end of the day, we want you to get your questions in. If you're following me on Zoom, definitely in the Q&A. If you're following us on Facebook, definitely type yours into the comments. My staff will pick those up, and we're going to keep this going. So, Greg, another one of the things that you just said that's in alignment with what we do, we certainly try to make sure, from the entrepreneurs to the startup businesses or to the businesses that are stable and who want to do business with the government, how to do so, how to get certified, how to register. What's some of the things you want to make sure that the business community at least knows, not only the website, that they should take a look at what Fort Lauderdale is doing, and how do they really get engaged with your team?
Exactly. So I'm glad you're mentioning that. So, when you drive Broward Boulevard as you get out of 95 and you're going east to the beach, you're going to see on the right, immediately after you get off, a police department headquarters that is right now being constructed, 191,000 square feet, that is going to be completed next year. That's just one of many of the projects that are in our portfolio. And when you reach the beach, you will see a park under construction. You will see many projects that are coming to a realization. I want the public to know that we have, because of the city commission and its future vision, we have $1.7 billion that has been committed to getting projects done. And see,
Wow.
that's 1.7 billion worth of opportunity for people out there that own their own businesses to see how can I be part of that project, or how can I be part of the operations once the project is built? The other day, there's a company out there from a colleague of mine, Mackenzie's Cleaning. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
But
Terry Ann McKenzie. Yes.
Terry Ann McKenzie, I went to high school with her. Shout
Oh,
out to
wow.
her.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Miami Central.
Oh,
I'm a
man. See,
Rocket.
and watch, you didn't know.
Yeah.
McKenzie Janitorial is one of our rising stars. They were featured at my conference back in 2019. Yeah, Terry Ann McKenzie.
And so this is what I told her about 2-3 years ago. Okay, get with Sandy, register your company, okay, and submit and provide references. If you've done a great job, or have someone that knows what you do, get a reference. All those are helpful, so that when you submit, right, and you're called up to submit your proposal, when you're going through the evaluation process, those things give you points. Those things are what helps you get selected. So, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I didn't even know that, Sandy. Okay, but I told her register. There is opportunity in Broward County, and look where she's at. She went from an entrepreneur to now leading entrepreneurs, right? Because I see her in talks, and so that's someone that I highly admire, right? And she does wonderful things. But again, going back to Fort Lauderdale is the top of the 31 cities here in Broward County. It's the geographic center of South Florida. And let me tell you something. We are thriving. All right. We have the Times best athlete. Okay, world's best athlete living in our backyard. That's Messi, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And so with that, he doesn't have to be the only winner. All you people in your audience right here can be winners, right? And so what I'm telling everyone here is, like, we got to keep winning. All right. So in order to keep winning, register yourself, find out about those opportunities. I'm going to put something on the link if you don't mind, Sandy.
By all means, please do.
This is our webpage to register yourself as a vendor. Okay. Register yourself as a vendor. And by the way, hey, Charles, how are you? Charles Casimir, if that's you that we worked in Hallandale, great to see you here, right? But here, that website that I just put right there on the chat link is the link so that you can register yourself and you could come in and be part of BidSync. Now, we use we don't use BidSync anymore. Sorry, we use the Infor system. But there are other cities that use BidSync. But here's the thing: once you do one, and once you fill it out in one place, it'll be easy for you to fill it out in other places. All right. But make sure you have your company registered with the state. Make sure you have your insurance ready to go. Make sure you have your references. And this is so important, Sandy. Make sure that you put in your commodity codes.
Yes.
Commodity codes are so important. If you miss those commodity codes, you're missing out on opportunity. So I highly encourage you for that. And that's our website, to register.
Greg, you're spot on. Look like I might have to call you to join us in May for our conference and just tell the whole story. Guys, as I love to call you guys family.
Yes.
Hear me.
Yes.
What Greg just stated, we just say ditto. He stated what you've heard, which you can go back and see in our videos about registering, timely, reviewing, proper commodity codes, understand your NACE, as we call the North American Industry Codes, making yourself available, begin to build your resume, and more importantly, you heard Greg in the beginning, he does what he loves and he loves what he do. That's the same for you. Your calling card, your referral will be the work, the product, the good on material that you're delivering. You have to be about your business. I often remind my small businesses, use certification programs as a pathway into an opportunity. But if you're fortunate enough to ever win a contract, remove the word small. It's about business, and you need to be able to deliver quality business. But with that being said, Greg also just bumped my head. I live in Fort Lauderdale. We drive around. He's screaming softly, 1.7 billion. Goods, materials, services, and products, but they have scheduled 1.7 billion. Guys, as a county, we procure at least 1 billion of goods, materials, and services every year. So within the footprint of Broward County and Fort Lauderdale, you have access right now of activity of over 2.7 billion. There's work, there's opportunity, and Greg, nor the county, neither of us want you to miss it. So Greg, with that being said, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we're coming to some of the questions. So once again, if you guys got some questions and you're on Zoom, please put those in the Q&A. If you got some questions and you're on Facebook Live, you write those in the comments, my staff. Greg, what's one of the things that you would want to make sure that a business, or we'll focus right now, a small business in Fort Lauderdale who's looking to do business with Fort Lauderdale, though you just kind of laid it out, what's one of the things in terms of commodity codes, as one example, you don't want them to miss? What is it that you know that at the end of the day, you don't want them to miss on opportunities by not doing A, B, or C? What would you tell me?
So I want to say that, after you register, it's important to look at what seminars there are, become engaged with your community. For example, there are certain times seminars that exist that showcase what projects are coming down, the pipeline, or there could be, for instance, right now we're doing these workshops to reimagine City Hall. If you don't know, Fort Lauderdale was impacted by the April 12th flooding of last year,
Yes, yes,
and because
unfortunately.
of that, we don't have a city hall. But you know what? Right now we're doing public input, and we're getting insight from the public as to what is required for a new city hall so that we can start building one soon. And so what I want to say is, by you becoming engaged, coming to the city commission meetings, or even accessing those via online, you can become more familiar with some of the perhaps pain points, the issues, the challenges that we as a city, as we're growing, face. And so, I tell a lot of people, you get paid a fraction for how much you're able to resolve. And so sometimes, there are opportunities out there that we don't even know about. And we've been very successful at receiving unsolicited proposals. So I want to say to you, there's public-private partnership opportunities out there that you could become familiar with, so that you can also, look at how can you partner with the city so that you can solve one of those issues and bring value to the operations. So I highly, again, emphasize, be very engaged with the community and look at how, you can see yourself, or what kind of value you can add to those projects, initiatives, and operations. And I want to, right now, for the audience, benefit, I want to put in the link right there on the chat, a link to our major projects, so you can see what we're doing right now. You will see that we're working on some major projects, major initiatives that is helping shape the future. And so as these projects come online, whether you're a cleaning business, or whether you're perhaps a linen business, anything out there that you feel can add value to this operation, we always love to hear from you. We always love to see what you're about, and certainly, you can be part of this ecosystem.
No, Greg, that's great. That's great. And I like the fact that you led off with engage. Get engaged, stay engaged. Because one of the things that we know is absolutely true. The opportunities that are available are available. But if you're not engaged in the process, you'll have no idea. The opportunities that are available are available. But as you're getting engaged, if you're not willing to research or do the homework to find out where your opportunity is, you won't be engaged. The opportunities are available. And the other part that Greg said is spot on. Small businesses, as well as large. There's times when you need to carve out your opportunity. He made mention of the unsolicited proposals, but sometimes when you're reading one of his bids, it might not scream your discipline, but if you pay close attention to the bid, you realize there's other parts of that bid that will need to be performed, and that might sound like you. So I am an avid supporter of not just sharing information with our business community, not just having a process by which our business community can get engaged, but advocating, as Greg just says, that you stay engaged, that you get engaged, that you attend those meetings, that you look at those advanced projects, that you find out information as early as possible, do your homework to see where your opportunities are, and engage that process. So with that, hey, whether it's Pam or Vanetta, do we got a couple of questions? I think Greg just answered one of the questions that I actually saw down in the Q&A.
Sandy, we have 2 Q&A questions in, if you're ready for that now.
Yes.
Okay, first question comes from Margaret Anglin. How can we see your master plan for construction?
All right, master plan. So that's a great question. So I tell everybody to look at our budget book. and I'm going to put our budget book in on the link there below. Basically, our budget book helps share what are we doing in the next 5 years. It talks about our capital improvement projects program, and basically you can use that as an understanding or know, what types of investments we're going to be doing in the next 5 years. So we have a transparency portal, and that portal again helps you just capture again what are we doing in the next 5 years. And let me see, I'm gonna put it right now in the chat, our financial transparency portal, and that will give you that information.
Great.
And again, you could look at how much is being allocated for future construction. When you go to that website, there's going to be a box that says Community Investment Plans, CIP. That Community Investment Plan is a book, and you download that book. I'll give you the exact link right here. Read that book. That book is your answer key, okay? That book is your answer key. And actually, am I putting, when I'm sharing those links, is your staff sharing those with?
Yeah, they're popping up in the
awesome.
chats, and we're still repeating
Excellent.
after you put them in.
Excellent. So that last link I gave, that's the Adopted Community Investment Plan. And when you, and I want to ask people to just read it. It's worth reading so you know what type of money is being allocated for what type of initiatives. And that will give you the inside play of where Fort Lauderdale is heading. That's a great question.
Thank you for that question, Margaret. Vanetta, you have another question?
I do. This next question comes from Jose Ortiz. He was asking about the links and to register for to do business with Fort Lauderdale. So I believe we dropped that into the chat. So if you don't see it again, Jose, please go ahead and repost and we'll make sure you get that. Our next question comes from Jason. He again asked about the links as well. So hopefully everybody has seen the links and they can access them. Okay. If anyone has any additional questions, please be sure to go ahead and post those into the chat. Post them in the Q&A area. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. And guys, remember, you can be in the chat, and in the chat is where all of Greg's links are. We're also going to copy those to make sure that when we do our post-interview activity, that we're going to post all of this on our website. We're going to run this interview on our website. Again, seriously and professionally and personally, I'm just excited that Greg was able to join me today because, guys, there is a lot going on in Fort Lauderdale. And what I mentioned earlier about carving out your opportunities, you need to think about it. Like he said, we got the #1 athlete living in our front yard, not even our backyard. But we also have all of these events that occur. There's major events here, from the concerts at the beach to the boat show, to the boat parade, to all of the events within the Las Olas area, the Sistrunk area. Just had a big festival this past week. Fort Lauderdale is much bigger in opportunity than what, as a prism or our eyes, we drive and see. But to Greg's point, a lot of information can be found at different meetings, at commission meetings, in the capital budget books. And as a business and a small business, we want you to learn how to engage the process. We want you to recognize that for most of the things that you are seeing, there's opportunities for businesses. And one of the things, and I won't put words in Greg's mouth, we're excited about businesses in Broward. But I know they are excited about businesses in Fort Lauderdale and the business owners who have decided to make Fort Lauderdale their business homes. So in reality, I'm always pushing the 31 cities, my day job. I'm going to push all the activities of the county. But it's for naught if you're really not engaging the process and following the opportunities where you as a business can also flourish. Greg, we always talk about golden nuggets, and you've given some great information. And I'm always, my audience know, that's why I call them family. I love to be forthcoming and honest, sometimes correcting, but for gold nuggets. And we got about 6 more minutes before we close.
All right.
What's
All
a
right.
gold nugget that you would want to lay that at the end of the day, if they didn't hear nothing me and you said, they go walk away and saying, I probably need to pay attention to that.
So I'll leave you with this philosophy that I have that I've used, which has helped me get my game up and get to the next level. And I heard this from a lady named Simone Knight. And if you're out there and you're in LinkedIn, let's connect, because I can connect you with a lot of these people that have helped me grow. But this is something Simone told me about 20 years ago. She says, if you are interested in growing and getting to the next level, and you want a piece of the pie, all right. So remember that three letters, pie, P-I-E. So part of it is having good performance. All right. Be good at what you do. Okay. So, people need to know that you perform well, that you have good references. People need to know that your business, your product, your services are top notch. And you know what that requires? Also learning more. Okay. So take advantage of a lot of these free online classes that are offered by Harvard. They're free 99. Take advantage of those, right? So that's P. If you want a piece of the pie, you need to perform well. The I in pie stands for image. You need to have great image. And it's not how you look, but what do people say about you, your work ethic, when you're not in the room? Today we talked about Terry Ann McKenzie, and she has a great image out there because she is very good at what she does. So make sure that people know about you, whether that's through marketing, whether that's through LinkedIn. Make sure that your image is out there, that, and you'll do that through networking, right? And then this leads me to my next thing is E. Make sure you have exposure. The best exposure is networking. The best exposure is when you're out there shaking hands. And maybe what that means is you set time aside and have coffee, have lunch with someone. You never know where that relationship can flourish and how that relationship will be so pivotal for your next move. So if you want a piece of the pie, remember, performance, image, exposure. Make sure you invest in all three.
Greg, I like that, and I'll make sure we circle back so I can always give credit where credit is due with the person you say you heard it from, because you're definitely going to see that posted on my website. I like that pie. I like that ideal of performance, that ideal of image, that ideal of exposure. So guys, remember that, and down the road, when you hear me talking about you got your pie, you know where I got it from. Okay, Vanessa, you got a couple of more questions before we get ready to get up out of here.
We do. We have a question in Q&A from Jose. He understands that FLL is no longer processing proposals through BidSync. As we register, will we be channeled to register with the new company? If not, what is the name of the system or company that replaced BidSync? I'm sorry, I said FLL, but I believe he was referring to the city of Fort Lauderdale.
No problem. So we replaced it with Infor. So go to Infor and you register, and now you're gonna put in all your commodity codes. The good thing about Infor, unlike BidSync, is that Infor is your one-stop shop online. So after you register, that's going to be your interface so that you can submit your invoices and get paid. So that's going to be one place that you put everything in there, and that's going to be your platform for your dashboard for making that revenue come in, making that performance come through. All right. So again, we do Infor, we use Infor, and it's there on that link that I sent. I'm going to put it one more time for our host to put out there. And certainly when you go to that site, it's going to pop up and you see a blue button there that says register.
That's great. No BidSync, go to Infor. Okay, got that. You got another one, Vanetta?
I do. I am looking for here. Kevin Moreau asks, does Fort Lauderdale have a program for pre-qualification for contractors for minor projects?
So right now, we don't have qualifications for minor projects. Right now, you could just register, and what I encourage you to do too is, even if you are a small business, look at who's winning the contract, because a lot of times they need partners, and you can pitch to them, hey, this is what I do. Again, have your PIE ready, performance image exposure ready, have your network game on, because you every time you network, you establish trust establishes commitment establishes performance. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would encourage everyone to do.
No, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Greg, and thank the gentleman for that question, because even though in our regard, we do have some projects that are carved out and we set goals, I love what Greg said, because it's what we say regularly. Goals or no goals. Small businesses have to forge relationships. You have to pitch. I'm now going to start in my presentations, just happen to add pie to it. But the reality is, you have to make sure that someone recognizes that you can bring value to that which they're doing. And one of the ways that you can bring value is to make sure that you can describe, and they can go out and find, and they can research your performance. And it is about your image. Does your name, your company name, speak for you before you walk through the door? And exposure. You got to be somewhere for folks to meet you and even congratulate you, because I heard about your name before I ever met you. Pie is real. So goals or no goals, carve outs or no carve outs. These projects you see throughout the county, and these projects you see throughout Fort Lauderdale specifically, the big guys are looking for partners and other businesses to deliver services. Those are your opportunities. And that's what we've been speaking about today, guys. Opportunities that we know are available to our business community, including our small, women, minority, veteran businesses. All businesses have real opportunities. So with that, Greg, I'm getting ready to thank you, man, for joining me, for sharing this information today. We got your contact information. We got your link. We got the links that you shared throughout this presentation. Again, this taping will run on our website. Greg, you and your PIO certainly is welcome to make sure you continuously run it, but we will make sure that those links are actually posted on our website so that you guys know about the opportunities, you know about the meetings, you know about the capital budget, you know where to go get information if you're interested in Fort Lauderdale. So Greg, I always end by letting my guests close us out, so you can take us out, sir. But again, I must say thank you for joining me today, my friend.
Thank you very much, Sandy. The pleasure is all mine, and we are very excited. And remember this, we are FTL.
I like that. Thank you all. So hey, gang, appreciate you. Until the next Director Series, we want to thank you for joining us, recognizing that there's still a lot to do, a lot of work to happen. And for our business community, we're here for you. Thank you all.
And I color out loud, repping my town. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. If you wanna feel amazing right now, flash up your lights and color the whole town. La-di-day-o. Hey, oh, hey, oh.